This is my dad's Mustang, and yesterday he blew up the clutch. Today we're gonna fix it. Let's get to it. So I was working on the Miata when I got a call from my dad saying he broke down. So I quickly loaded up the trailer and headed his way. We got it loaded up. It was kind of sketch because the trailer ramps are so steep. We had to make it work, but we got it up there okay. Got everything all tied down, and honestly, it was a really scenic spot to break down at. There's a nice sunset going on. We headed back to the shop, but first we had to stop at Walmart and get some snacks because we knew we were gonna have a late night trying to figure out what went wrong. We made it back to the shop, and when I went to pull it off the trailer, it didn't really feel like a blown up clutch. It felt really bizarre because it still had glimpses of driving normal, which if it was a completely blown up clutch, it wouldn't engage at all. So it wasn't really making sense. So yeah, we were eager to pull it in the shop and figure out what was wrong.
Let's get it in the air and figure out what's going on.
All right, we were just inspecting it. I pulled this out of the bell housing, so that tells us he blew up the clutch. The next thing to do is drop the transmission. Out of penetrating fluid, so we're gonna use this. We'll see what happens. Needless to say, the 3-in-1 did not work, and we had to bust out the torch to get this bolt off, and it still ended up snapping, but that's okay because for now it's off.
Yeah, same. Making progress. Exhaust out, drive shaft out. Now time to pull the starter and finish all the bell housing bolts. Let's get to it. I'm gonna drop the car back on the ground. That way it'll be easier to get the top 2 bell housing bolts, so let's do it.
If you've ever pulled a transmission, you know the worst part is the top 2 bell housing bolts. Sometimes you could get it from underneath with like a 5-foot extension. Other times you gotta finesse it from the top, which is what I end up having to do.
All right, let's drain the trans. Oh, there's a string on me. All right, let's drain the trans. Oh,
Oh, look. Delicious.
That does look red.
It is. I told you. I know what goes in there. I gotta put a gasket there too. Huh?
Ow!
Finally got the transmission out, and yeah, he exploded the clutch in half. So we're gonna throw in all new parts, but first we gotta order them, and I'll see you guys tomorrow or whenever we get the parts. All right, we finally got the parts. Time to put them in the car. But first we had to clean up all the clutch material that was exploded in the bell housing, and then clean up the threads that had sealant or thread locker on them. And now it's finally time to tackle that snapped stud, and I drilled through it and unfortunately snapped a bit inside of it, which sucks because the bits are hardened steel, so it just made it that much more difficult to get out. I also removed the pilot bearing with a hamburger bun, which is kind of funny because I've always seen videos about it, but it actually worked very well.
All right, after like 13 hours, we finally got the exhaust stud replaced. Got the new slave cylinder in, got the output shaft in, and now we just gotta install the rest of the new parts. So let's get to it. All right, we just finished up everything, and now it's time to start it and see what happens.
And just like that, it's time to lower the car and go for a test drive. you all for watching, and feel free to subscribe if you like videos like this. I'll see you guys next time.